What's up to the collective and all the new audience? I am Shawn Smith from DiBk Productions. Our first entry will be our origin story of the DiBk Podcast, how it came from a concept, how it came from an attitude to a real life podcast. The other voice you will hear with me on this episode is my co-producer, co-conspirator, my boy, David V. Lewis, as we talk about how DiBk came about. This is from season 1, episode 9. It's called Our Creators Drip. And the Creators Drip for us was where the creators took an episode and expounded upon what we have done, what we're going to do, and what was on our mind or what things that we wanted to talk about. So sit back and enjoy the Creators Drip 19 of the DiBk Podcast. And this is made for our C4 collective. Much love. Be well.
Let's begin with this whole idea of DiBk. So I know there's a trailer out there, but for those that haven't seen the trailer, give them the Cliff Notes version of where this concept of DiBk emerged.
You know, DiBk, the actual name came actually out of frustration. I was coming home from work, and I was dealing with my co-workers. I was tired of the inequalities and all that other stuff. And I said, man, I want some. I just want to see some Black excellence. I don't want to hear no junk. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. I want to see Black excellence. I just want to drip it in black, and that's where the name came from. Now from that, the whole idea. I do some consulting work. I'm in the education field, and the dripping in black is the attitude. It's. I want to do everything in Black excellence. I want to be around Black excellence because that's what drives me. That's what motivates me. That's what inspires me. So that's where it came from. And then, sometimes you share your idea and somebody else take it somewhere else. And we say, oh, and then poof, you got a podcast. Yeah. So although it's a lot of talking, there was a lot of praying, there was a lot of stuff between the name and where we at with it now.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing is you and I, we talk all the time, we hang out all the time. And of course, COVID hit and that kind of pumped the brakes on a lot of that stuff. Of course, we were in constant communication, but we have, whenever one of us have an idea, we'll run it through some channels, and both of us are on our channels. And so, one of the things for me during COVID, well, it was quite a few things. I'm not going to try to go too far with it, but we know we had COVID hit, and that gave us time that we normally didn't have. And then, of course, you had the George Floyd incident, like many other people, it just brought so many things to the forefront. And it was great to see people get out in March and, protested in full force like we saw it. And of course, some people are still out there doing that. And, but for me, I was trying to figure out what my role would be, trying to go against the systemic injustices that we have been facing for too long, and how to make myself most productive. So those kind of thoughts were kind of bubbling in my head. And, during the downtime, I was thinking about some other things I could be doing with the time to kind of broaden my abilities and perspective on things. And one of the concepts was podcasting. So I looked into it and read about it. But some of the previous conversations that you and I had, you had already been talking about podcasting. So then the meeting that happened in which we birthed the DiBk, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't stepping on your toes, because I know you had talked to me about a podcast, and then all of a sudden here I come with an idea, hey, I want to do a podcast, So I said, well, let me tell Shawn what I'm thinking, And what I thought about it was, I can see myself doing it. I can see myself inviting people on, allowing them the platform, and just asking poignant questions because that's kind of in my nature. And so that was kind of where my mind was about the podcast. But I was struggling with the name. I was struggling with the name. Like, what's the name going to be? I didn't want it to be education based. I wanted it to be open to all kind of genres, and I wanted it to be about Black excellence. And so in that conversation, I'm sharing that idea with you, and then you bring up Dripping in Black, and I say, that's it. That's the name of the podcast. And so it's just amazing to me how things work, because you had we like to call it in our circle, the Damascus moment, the road to Damascus moment, where, you were driving down 75 and boom, Dripping in Black kind of comes at you. You had to pull over and and jot stuff down. It got so hot for you. So you had that months and months before, I had this epiphany about, me doing a podcast, but the two kind of came together to birth it.
Oh yeah, because it was funny because that wasn't the plan, because I was starting the twin of Dripping in Black, the Urban Educator Forum. I was starting that, and that was about education. But Dripping in Black, like I said, I pulled over. I wrote down some stuff. I was using the recording part of my phone, and that night I went to go look for drippinginblack.com and to save it, because that was one of the things I did that night to see if it was available, and bought it that night when I found it. So it was funny because that was the second thing, because it was a part of my higher ground educational resources, but it didn't have a product. It was kind of how I was operating. I'm operating in Black excellence. Math Noir, which is my tutoring and my curriculum stuff dealing with math stuff. But it had to be Dripping in Black. Everything had to be Dripping in Black. Then you said a podcast with Dripping in Black? I said, yeah. So, we in COVID. So, and again, I'm an educator, and we didn't know how we going to teach. So I had to buy I was buying green screens. I was buying, recording stuff. And I was up there studying this stuff because we didn't know what education was going to look like. And I had to finish the semester because we was on spring break pretty much when it started. So we started buying this stuff. And then David said something, he moved in, and like I said, the logo was there. I had the logo already. I had, the name in there, the DBA and stuff. So all that stuff was there. It just didn't really have a product. And the first product, do a podcast. And here we are.
Here we are. And by the time I came with my idea, you had a lot of the equipment necessary to make a podcast happen, especially in the Zoom world. And, you had a lot of the knowledge base, and so needless to say, that meeting where we kind of got the general consensus around it led to several other meetings, and, we birthed the podcast. So let's talk about how you feel about what we've done thus far. So at the time of the recording of this Creators Drip, we have recorded more than 7, right? But we have the 7th episode about to drop on Thursday. This is Wednesday night. So let's talk about how you feel about how it's going so far.
It's going, man. It's definitely grow, change. We talk about grow, change, and develop in our reciprocity group, and it made me grow. It made me change. It made me develop. Made me have attitude. It made me have to do all types of stuff because we had to learn it. We had to learn this. I'm gonna tell on the host. The host said, well, I want a visual representation. I was just thinking of an audio podcast, cut it up, boom. I've learned that already. I'm good. Video. I don't know video. I don't know video like that. I don't even want to know video like that. And he said, visual, visual. And I had to go. I went to YouTube University and had to figure it out. I was telling somebody the story, how I figure out what I'm going to use. I had to figure out first what was free. And then second, I took one of those YouTube videos that says, we recommend 3 or the 3 best things. I said, I'm taking the middle one. I don't care what it is. I'm just going to learn it. I ain't going to sit around debating which one I'm going to learn. I don't even care. I'm taking the middle one. DaVinci was the middle one. Boom. That's the one I'm going to learn. We gonna do this. And that's what we've been doing. And and I don't know, the viewers probably could see if you look at what we recorded is not in the order in which they've been released. So going through that, we ain't gonna tell our story either. So if you see it, we know. I said, man, we came a long way from that first one. Now, like I said, I think we recorded probably 10 or 11, somewhere around there. But they wasn't released the same in order in which we recorded it. And I said, man, we came a long way, because I had no idea of what I was doing. And I just took a couple of days, and I just had my YouTube videos, had a pretty much streaming, had a in order. Said, okay, I gotta do this. Let me do this. I was doing it with it. I was doing all types of stuff, man. And I blame David for that. But I did learn something. It's definitely a knowledge set. But that was not my goal when I started. We even actually tried to find somebody to help us out in that area, and it didn't work out. And I said, but guess what? It still got to be done, and it still got to be done in excellence. So it couldn't be no Rudy Poot stuff that we put out there. I said, I got to learn how to do it. I said, if we're going to do it now, one day I might not have to do it, and that'd be great. But until that day comes, unless somebody out here that really want to do that, you come contact us. But
that's for real, people.
Oh yeah, for real. For real. So that's what we do, man. We had a thing. We always sit back on stuff and let it die and stuff. I wouldn't let nothing die, because we see what COVID did. Again, this is a COVID removed every excuse that I had. You don't have enough time. So we were sitting up here in the house and doing nothing. I better learn something. I better do something. When I come out, I got to come out better. I heard a quote today. I was listening to another podcast, and it said, I'm going to mess it up. Pretty much was saying, don't reach for what it was, reach for better, or something along that line. It'll be a meme soon on the Dripping in Black somewhere, in all our social media somewhere, because that was a nice quote. I'm messing it up now because I've been on the run all day.
Yeah. So my side of that story is, the whole time when I was talking to you about the podcast, the visual was part of it. So that was the interesting thing. I always thought of the podcast as having a visual component, right? I didn't think of it as just an audio component. And so there was some meeting of the minds that had to happen with us too on that. And, so we had that, and we have both the audio version as well as the video version. Drop that channel on them for us, Shawn, where they can find it.
Oh, the Dripping in Black channel is, in short, Dripping in Black in short is DiBk. So Dripping in Black channel on YouTube. Go subscribe. We're expanding the channel each time. We doing that thing. So we giving you some content. But it's all in Black excellence. So you can guarantee that's what it's going to be. It's all in Black excellence.
And then tell them about the Facebook page as well.
Okay, the Facebook page is DiBk 20. on Facebook and Instagram, same name under Facebook and Instagram. There's a Twitter. I haven't really got doing well on the Twitter yet, but it is Twitter, and it's they maxed it up. If you put in DiBk 20, it will come up, but it's really, what is it? They got it backwards. It's BK20 DI or something like that. So Twitter is struggling, but you can get a lot of nice articles and stuff on Twitter. So I'm gonna get that.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.